Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Well, sometimes you just need to eat your crow. Sometimes you just need to have the self-awareness to look back and admit when you were wrong. And it's not easy. It is not always easy to admit that you were mistaken about something, especially something that you're really passionate about, that you feel like you're really knowledgeable about. But that's what I'm here to do right now. And in fact, this isn't an actual official one, but I'm going to mock it up as my official apology form. Signed, Tony Metro, to the Juan and only Mr. Juan Soto. Because a couple weeks ago, I put out a short. It was from a stream, actually, where I said Juan Soto had a massively underwhelming first season in a Mets uniform. That was back when he was not hitting with runners in scoring position, under 200, the OPS below 700 in those spots, and the numbers felt hollow. But since May 30th, Juan Soto has been arguably the best hitter in the National League, and now has absolutely turned it on with runners in scoring position, as today he carries the Mets in what was his pinnacle crowning Mets moment. His 36th home run, a grand slam to give the Mets the lead. His first home run with more than one runner on base as a New York Met, with 2 outs in the 4th inning. And even though the Mets staked Sean Manaea to a 6-3 lead, of course we knew that wouldn't last. A tie ball game, and what does Juan Soto do? Comes back with a 2-run triple, and the Mets would never look back as they are able to tack on, and despite the bullpen getting nickel and dimed as they so often do with this pitching staff, they are able to keep the Tigers at bay and win this one on what we are going to call Juan Soto Day. What a performance from one of the phenoms of Major League Baseball, and he is a New York Met. So my official apology to you, Juan Soto. I was wrong. Your season has absolutely been impactful for the New York Mets. What a day. Hey guys, I'm Tony Metro. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game. You can follow me on all the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Links to those all in the description of this video. If you guys want to call in and be a part of the show, you can do that too. Go to the link to my Discord in the description of this video, and I will put you in when I am ready to take some phone calls. But first, let's go to the chat as always. Stefan, all the way from Amsterdam, LGM. Stefan, you finally got to watch a day game that the Mets actually win. Let's go, baby. A nice W. It wasn't easy, that is for sure. Trust me, we were in our Discord chat talking, and you know how I was feeling after Sean Manaea blew up there in the 4th inning after Juan Soto's grand slam. But nice to see you here, Stefan. Armand, Juan effing Soto is a New York Met. I got the number 22 Mets wrote on. Unfortunately, it's not actually Soto. I got a confession to make, guys. It's Tom Goodwin, the former Mets first base coach. Not that I wanted this. I actually won it at Citi Field, but it's a real game issued one. I just got to get some duct tape and put Soto on the back, and I'm good to go. Nico says, good win today, 100%. Stefan, high tone, good game. Finally, that Soto moment. This was that Soto moment, or in the words of the former Yankees radio announcer, John Sterling, a Soto photo as he launches a 2-out, 2-strike grand slam to right center field in the top of the 4th inning to give the Mets the lead. And I think what made it even more meaningful, to me at least, is that inning began with the bases loaded and nobody out. Brett Beatty goes down swinging. Francisco Lindor goes down swinging. And we're thinking, wow, we're going to let Charlie Morton off the hook here. And even Soto had an 0-2 count before hitting this one out on 1-2 to right center field. I thought he got all of it, but he did take it to one of the deeper parts of the yard, plus that high wall out there in the right center field gap, and he still manages to go 2 or 3 rows deep. What a performance, though, from Soto. Then he gets the 2-run triple down the right field line in the 6th when the Mets had already coughed up that lead thanks to Sean Manaea and the bullpen. This is the Soto game. This is his arrival as a New York Met. It may have taken about 138 games or so. He's definitely done a lot along the way, but this is the pinnacle of his Mets career so far. Love to see it. Mr. Chiffer, LFGM, absolutely, my man, LFGM. Timothy Frith, the Mets bounce back to beat the Tigers 10-8. That is right. Nico, Juan is chasing a 30-30 season. IDK, how many steals he has, but I know he's close. Hey, Juan Soto could be chasing a 40-40 season. He had 1 stolen base today, or I think it actually got... No, I think Pete fouled the ball off, and then he got picked off. So I don't think he had a stolen base today, but Juan Soto's got 26 stolen bases, now 36 home runs. He is chasing a 40-40 season at this point. Not a lot of time to get 14 more stolen bases, but it's almost a guarantee, especially with how hot he is swinging this bat right now, that Soto is going to eclipse his career season high total, which was 41 with the Yankees last year, and no cheapies like at the Bronx. So love to see it. Joe says, Soto tamas los tigres. Yes, absolutely. I got to brush up on my Spanish a little bit, but I'm assuming Soto tames the Tigers. Very nice. Bravo. I speak Italian, not too much Spanish, but they're pretty similar, right? Armand, Juan Soto has 4 homers, a triple, 3 stolen bases, and 11 ribbies over his last 4 games. Since RBI became an official stat in 1920, only 1 MLB player has reached those marks over a 4-game span, and that was Ryan Klesko in May of 2001. Not who you would expect. Ryan Klesko, I believe he was the first baseman for the Padres, if I'm not mistaken, back in the early 2000s. Not exactly the most fleet of foot, but was able to manage it. Yeah, what a performance from Soto, man. That is just a crazy stat right there. Nico says, Armand, where'd you learn that? Oh, sorry. Stefan, let's focus on winning the series. The Mets are so bipolar that they lose the next 2. No negativity today. No negativity today. The only negativity I will say today is that the Toronto Blue Jays and Reds were playing. The Reds were leading 2-0 almost that entire game. Toronto went ahead 4-2 at one point, and then the Reds scored 3 runs in the 9th inning, and they did end up winning that game 5-4. So unfortunately, they don't gain any ground on Cincinnati, but they also don't lose any ground on the Reds. So the lead for the 3rd and final wild card spot remains at 4. Meanwhile, the Phillies are just about to get started in their game as well against the Brewers. So an opportunity to maybe make up some ground at least on the Phillies here, and instead of being 6 back in the NL East, be 5 back, and then we'll just see how the rest of this week goes. But obviously, Tigers a good team. We saw how they played today. Really not an impressive or good performance whatsoever from Sean Manaea, guys. That was rough. The way this one started, I thought it was going to be an ugly game for sure. We'll get into it in a second here. Let me just check in with the chat again. Mr. Chiffer, so worried about these veteran pitchers, and that's exactly a great jumping off point. Basically, the way this game started, you get 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Pete Alonso rolls into the double play. Then you get a ground out from Nimmo. Mets come up empty. Leadoff home run for Jahmani Jones, who couldn't hack it with the Yankees last year. All of a sudden, has turned into a little pest with the Tigers. By the way, Milwaukee just went up 1-0 on a Bryce Terang home run over the Phillies. We love to see that. Here we go. But then Sean Manaea is staked to a 2-1 lead after Luis Torrens's 2-run double in the top of the 2nd inning. And promptly, Sean Manaea gives it up in the the bottom of the 3rd on another 2-run homer. And you're just thinking, this is going to be one of those games. Then the Juan Soto grand slam, 6-3, and it was only a matter of when the Mets pitching staff was going to blow this lead, and it didn't take very long. The very next half inning, in the bottom of the 4th, Sean Manaea just implodes in front of our eyes like we have seen so much with the rest of the veterans on this pitching staff. He gives up 2 runs, and now the Tigers have cut it down to 6-5. Gregory Soto was able to bail him out, get the final one of that inning. But then in the bottom of the 5th, Soto runs into trouble. Stanek comes on in relief. uncorks a wild pitch, and we are knotted up even again 6-6. And at that point, I'm fuming. I'm thinking, if the Mets don't win this game, man, this is just one of those gut punch type of losses after getting a grand slam from Soto, having 2 separate leads. I know the Tigers are the best team in the American League, but that one would really, really hurt, especially after the weekend they just had against Miami. But Juan Soto coming through, I mean, just had to have it. Had to have a 6-run, 6 RBI performance from Juan Soto to win this one, because you didn't even get 4 innings out of Manaea. Soto wasn't great. Stanek wasn't great. Brooks Raley gave up a run. Ryan Helsley gave up a run. It's almost like you're just hoping that they can limit the damage at this point, but you expect at minimum 1 run from anybody that takes the mound for this Mets team. It's a real problem for sure, but we're going to put all that aside. We're going to try to keep it all positive here today. Armand Singh, typical Mets will sweep the Tigers after losing to the lowly Marlins. The Marlins, who, by the way, got 2 hit by the Nationals today. Make it make sense. The Mets gave up like 34 freaking runs to the Marlins over that 4-game series, and they get 2 hit by the Nationals today. I can't understand it. The Mets fits with the Miami Marlins. I don't get it. Jose Lopez Moya, let's face it, this Mets pitching staff, especially the starters, are a bunch of chokers. It's not a great staff. We already kind of know that. The veterans are taxed. The bullpen is taxed. They carried this team the first 2 months, and now they're seeing the ill effects of having to rely on them as often as they did through March, April, and May. So, unfortunately, this is what we got. Hopefully, Brandon Sproat is going to get a call here in August. Would not be surprised to see him take a turn in the rotation for one of Manaea, Holmes, or Kodai Senga as they go into September. Don't be surprised. Be ready for it. CB24203, awesome win. Absolutely, CB. Love it. Red Bear Fox says, Manaea is not just bad. He's legit horrendous. I mean, I said some choice words to Manaea through the television after he coughed up those 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Are you kidding me? Juan Soto just hit a grand slam, his first home run with more than a runner on base. It's supposed to be his crowning achieving moment as a New York Met so far, and you go back out there and give up 2 runs right back to the Tigers. Get the F out of here, Sean Manaea. Come on, man. Something's wrong. I have said it before, guys. I said it in my Discord. We are going to see Manaea have to get a surgery this offseason. He is not healthy. We heard about the bone spurs, the loose fragments in his elbow, and he said it was nothing, but there's something physically wrong, I think, with Sean Manaea. And, I'm not ready to say that last year was just a 1-year wonder, but I think he tried to rush back from injury. I think he had the setback with the loose fragments in his elbow, and he wanted to get back and help this team, and now he's actually just hurting them at this point. So Armand says Soto has 35 homers and 26 stolen bases, and I think close to 100 RBIs at this point, right? Somewhere in the 90s, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but somewhere in that area. So it's coming along for him. Nico says this would be a good rotation. McLean, Tong, Peterson, Sproat. If we could get a solid starter that can go 6+ innings, we could be one of the best teams out there. Well, unfortunately, it's too late for that. We're basically stuck with what's on the roster. I like the idea of Sproat. I have heard Tyler McGill's name thrown out there. Not that I'm super excited about that one, though. Had a tremendous September for this team last year on their march to the playoffs. So maybe catch lightning in a bottle with Tyler McGill. He's usually pretty solid in short spurts, but it's got to be better than what we are getting right now from the likes of Clay Holmes and from Sean Manaea and from Kodai Senga, and even to a degree David Peterson, though he is not going to be taken out of this rotation clearly. So we hopefully will get to see Sproat make his MLB debut, and hopefully with the same type of excellence that we have seen so far from Jonah Tong and from Brandon Sproat. Armand, Ryan Klesko was a first baseman. Yes, exactly. I nailed it. And a corner outfielder. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Nico says, if we can get Helsley to get it together, this team could be dangerously good. Okay, now you are trying to move mountains. If we can get Ryan Helsley to be good, I don't think that's happening, man. He comes in with a 10-6 lead in the 7th inning, and we couldn't even get it from him. He had to give up a run, a leadoff double. Yeah, he gets bailed out by a diving catch from Cedric Mullins, who, by the way, we're talking about this being Juan Soto's greatest game as a Met. That was probably the greatest moment that Cedric Mullins has given us so far, if we're being honest. The diving catch in left center field, that had disaster written all over it after the Mets had just padded their lead to 9-6, and to 10-6. and he was able to lay out and make that grab. So good on Cedric Mullins, I guess, but I don't see Helsley getting any better at this point, guys. It is just a problem right now. The Mets don't have a lot of guys they can rely on. Armand says Brewers lead 1-0, bottom first, 2 out, or 2 on and 2 out. We love it. Let's go. Hopefully they take care of the Phillies for us this weekend. Mr. Churfer, oh snap, the Reds came back to walk it off, shaking my head. I'm feeling the same way, man. Come on, Toronto. Are you kidding me? Thanks for nothing, Blue Jays. Come on, the Reds, who have not been playing good ball lately either. CB, this season has been kind of exhausting. Kind of? You're telling me, man. It has been over the top exhausting. I cannot believe the ups and downs this team takes us through, not only on a weekly schedule, monthly schedule, but literally within every game. It has just been beyond exhausting, 100%, dude. Mr. Churfer, unfortunately, Senga has a clause in his contract where he can't be optioned down without his approval. Thanks, Epler. Shaking my head. I didn't realize that. Maybe he would accept it, though, if he's willing to. Maybe that's the option, or the Mets phantom injury list him. That's always another option for them to do as well. Armand says, I agree, the loose body is affecting Manaea. I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be. I think that they found that. He said, I'm going to give it a shot anyway. Let's see what happens. There can't be any maybe further damage, they probably told him. And now he's unfortunately not pitching well. So I would not be surprised if we hear about Sean Manaea undergoing the knife and having a pretty serious surgery this offseason, because I think something physically has to be wrong with him at this point. Guys, go ahead, leave this video a like right now if you haven't already done so. Really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe. Daily Mets content, post-game recap after every Mets game. A huge win for them coming off the really ugly series against the Marlins this past weekend. A huge day for Juan Soto. Like I said, his greatest game clearly as a New York Met. And it's not just the grand slam. It's not just the go-ahead 2-run triple. He draws 2 walks as well. I mean, OPS for this game must be out of the moon, and it has to be approaching that 950 territory, which is exactly what we were expecting from him when this season began. It hasn't all been linear for Juan Soto this year, but at the end, it's looking like he's going to put up massive, massive numbers for this team. Worth every penny. I eat my crow. I said in the beginning, here's my apology form. Juan Soto is the chosen one. Beautiful. Jose Lopez said, oh, D-Rails before that. What's up, D-Rails? My man, he's an OG of the streams, always spitting knowledge here. By the way, guys, if you do want to call into the Discord, I am opening it right now, see if anybody's in there. But if you want to be a part of the show and sound off, would love to hear your guys' takes from this game, from Juan Soto. Anything Mets related, all is on the table. You can call in, go to that Discord. You'll be put in the waiting room, and then I'll bring you in when I am ready to take some phone calls, which is just about right now, actually. So I'm going to check. No one in there right now, but if you want to do that, go to Discord right now, ready to take those calls. D-Rail says, great win. I mean, one you had to have, right? One you absolutely had to have after losing 3 of 4, after losing 2 games in the standings to the Phillies, 1 game to the Reds yesterday in the National League wildcard race. You had to have this one, especially now when you looked at see that the Reds came back and walked the Blue Jays off in the 9th inning. You would have been in danger of only leading the NL Central by 3 games. By the way, with Cincinnati coming up on the schedule this weekend. So one the Mets absolutely had to have. Juan Soto said, I'm Greg Jennings. I put the team on my back, though. If you get that reference, you're an OG. Just check in or type into YouTube later on after this stream, Greg Jennings, team on my back, though. Great game from Soto. Really, obviously, we know not a good day for Manaea. 3 2/3 innings pitch, gives up 5 runs on 8 hits. I think he had a walk or 2 in there as well. Really, really rough start for him as Milwaukee hits one down the right field line, and they are leading 3-0 in the first inning off of Taijuan Walker. Love to see that. So Philly in an early hole. We will see if it holds up. Look, the division is definitely a pipe dream at this point for the Mets. They have dug themselves a hole. They almost got themselves out of it when they got within 4 after the sweep of the Phils last week. Unfortunately, this weekend really hurt them against Miami. But gain a game here, maybe another one, get within 4 again before you go to that series out there in Philadelphia for 4, and you never know what happens. But hopefully the Mets, at the very least, can continue to separate themselves from the Cincinnati Reds for that final wild card spot beginning this weekend with that 3-game series at Great American Ballpark. Let's go back to the chat. Mr. Churfer Pet was Mr. Clutch in the beginning of the season, and now he is Mr. Double Play. You mean Pete, I think. Yeah, not a good day for Pete Alonso. 0 for 4. Not only the double play there, but also striking out with Soto at third and not coming in with a key insurance run. Nimmo was able to get that base hit through the left side, but before that, Pete Alonso with 1 out, striking out when all you needed was a sacrifice fly, something in the air. So Pete has definitely tapered off a little bit in terms of his numbers with runners in scoring position. They're still overall pretty healthy because of a good start to the season, but we definitely need Pete to get back to that middle approach, going the other way with the ball. I feel he's getting a little pull happy again, and we know when Pete gets pull happy, he pulls off and he tends to strike out and chase a lot more. So hopefully Pete will rediscover that here in the final month of the season leading into the playoffs. Nico says, I would call him, but I'm watching the stream. Don't worry, man. You can call in another time. I appreciate it. But if anyone else does want to call in, go to the link in the video description to my Discord, and I'll plug you in. Anything you want to talk about the Mets, sound off about Soto's big day, talk about Sean Manaea's struggles, talk about the rotation plans moving forward into the final month of the season. Everything is on the table. Would love to hear from you guys. So go ahead, go to the link to my Discord in the description of this video. CB24203, Soto going down to 1 knee on that salami was so beautiful. And Gary Cohen got a little fooled on that one because I thought he got all of it off the bat, at least from watching on TV. I know the light out there at Comerica Park in Detroit was a struggle, not only for some of the outfielders, but for the broadcasters in the booth as well. So maybe that was part of it, but I thought he got all of it, and Cohen was a little hesitant, and then it ends up being 2-3 rows deep to one of the deeper parts of the yard. That was a beauty, 100% CB. Armand Soto is a 394 OBP, a 900 OPS, and a 506 slug, 155 OPS plus. It is a thing of beauty, guys. Juan Soto has absolutely arrived. It's not just because of today's performance. It has obviously been a long-going thing now for the last probably month and a half or so, where he's been just lights out, just a dangerous hitter that we always thought he was going to be when he signed that massive contract with the Mets. So really exciting stuff. Red Bear Fox Alonso, the second most double plays in the entire sport, the most in the National League, the second most in the National League, also resides on the Mets, and it is the man of the hour in Juan Soto. So sometimes, man, you hit the ball hard, you hit it at somebody, and those are the breaks of the game, right? It kind of sucks, but overall, got to be pretty happy with what we've got from Pete this season. If he can turn it on now, just like Soto is, Lindor's still been doing pretty well lately. Nimmo's been hitting the ball a little bit lately. That core 4, that Fab 4, as they were referred to by Steve Cohen, definitely looks like they are starting to click at the same time. And now you just got to get contributions from some of the other guys. And we've seen some of that. Brett Beatty has turned it on lately. Mark Vientos has been really good lately, with the exception of today. So hopefully you continue to get those contributions. Francisco Alvarez, tough as freaking nails. Guy has a partial tear in his UCL in his thumb, and then gets hit on the hand and breaks his pinky in his rehab start the other day, and he DH'd, hit obviously on Saturday, and then I believe is scheduled to catch today for AAA Syracuse. So maybe Francisco Alvarez is going to come back and continue to swing the hot bat that he was swinging before that injury. So things are looking up for this offense. Unfortunately, not so much for this pitching staff, which has just absolutely been a huge struggle for them. So I don't have any calls waiting right now. Again, if you want to call, be sure to do that. Go into the link of the description of this video and go to my Discord. But in the meantime, we will go over here and we'll take a look at the box score really quick, and then we're going to take a look or listen to, actually, you know what, first let's do this. Let's go over to SMY. Let's hear what the boys have to say after the big win here. I don't want to hear from you right now, Sean Manaea. I'd love to hear from Juan Soto. You guys probably already heard that on the broadcast, but let's hear what Mendy has to say about Juan Soto. I mean, what is there left to say other than he's the GOAT, right?
Man, pretty impressive, you know. I don't think anybody's surprised by it, but when you see it day in and day out for a long period of time, like, man, like, this guy can put a team and carry it, you know, and that's what he's doing. You know, that grand slam and then tough left on left, and he's able to hit that triple down the line, but just his ability to control the strike zone and just if it's a show, man. Like every time he's at the plate, like you want to watch that. So it's pretty special, and I'm glad he's on our.
What do you think, guys? Do we finally get some Soto shuffles now? Now that he hit his first homer with more than one runner on base, do we finally get some Soto shuffles? I mean, I think it's due time, right? Don't you think? But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to do that because the vibes are good right now. He's playing really well. So maybe he doesn't do the shuffle now. But, man, what a freaking day. And it is a show every time Juan Soto comes to the plate. I mean, he has just been ridiculous. Just absolutely tearing the cover off the ball, still taking his walks. Just unbelievable day. It was a historic performance. The stat from earlier, since the RBI became a stat, he has 4 homers, a triple, 3 stolen bases, and 11 RBIs over his last 4 games. First guy since 2001, Ryan Klesko, to achieve that. The only other guy since Ryan Klesko in 2001 to achieve that. So, I mean, guys making history, just unbelievable stuff from Juan Soto. Mr. Churfer says, I don't see what's so difficult about getting to Morton. You just have to lay off his off speed and force him into the zone. Keep chasing garbage out of the zone. That's before he's even thrown. I mean, look, he's Charlie Morton is a tough pitcher to hit. He had that curveball working. It had a lot of horizontal movement, not so much vertical movement today. It was coming in on the left-handed hitters, and that was giving them fits. We know Pete Alonso has never hit well against Charlie Morton, especially you remember back in 2003, Charlie hit him on the hand intentionally. I don't know. I kind of felt like it was. It was the day after Pete said that whole throw it again thing when he hit that homer down at Truist Park. Anyway, not to get off topic, but Pete has always struggled against Charlie Morton. He's always had good numbers against the Mets. This game actually gave me more fear than if the Mets were facing Tariq Skubal. That's how much Charlie has owned the Mets. And so, like I said, not only is it a Juan Soto grand slam, but it is magnified by the fact that the Mets began that inning with bases loaded and nobody out, and then back-to-back strikeouts from Beatty and from Lindor immediately after Sean Manaea had just coughed up the 2-1 lead. And you're thinking, man, this is going to be an ugly, ugly game, isn't it? But Juan Soto come through despite falling behind in an 0-2 count and clocking that one out for the grand slam. Love to see it. Mr. Churfer, Walker's getting rocked. Love to see that too. Phillies down 3-0. Milwaukee doing some bidding for us. We love to see that. It's now 4-0 Brewers over the Phillies. So chance for the Mets to get back within 5 games of the Phillies in the National League East. Guys, go ahead, leave this video a like if you have not done so already. I really, really appreciate it. Let's hear what Manny had to say about Sean Manaea and Kodai Senga's recent struggles. I mean, what is there to be said given how bad the veterans in this staff have been?
Viewing that similar to how you're viewing Kodai's spot with?
No, I mean, again, they're part of the rotation, So our job is trying to find a way to help them. So, and that's what we'll do, and then we'll go from there.
Well, yeah, no, and he's been saying that a lot. They got to find a way to help him, We know they're good. But what? What is the solution? And honestly, I don't know, because I can't even diagnose what's wrong with these guys or why teams are hitting them as hard as they have been. I mean, something is just amiss with these guys. In the case of Sean Manaea, I do truly think it's physical. I do think the loose bodies in his elbow are affecting him a lot more than he would have anticipated when he came back from the injured list. And like I said throughout this stream, would not be surprised to see him have to go down and have a major surgery this offseason. I mean, obviously not wishing that upon him, but would not be surprised if that is the case. With Senga, was it him getting rushed back from the injured list too early? Is that hamstring is he not confident in it still in his landing leg? I don't know, but something is wrong with 2 of the guys that we expected to be at the top of the rotation when we began this season. So hopefully they do figure it out. Real quick, let's hear what Sean Manaea has to say. 7-second audio clip, so this was probably very short.
You feel the loose body in the elbow at all when you're out there?
Perfect.
No. Yeah, elbow's fine. Everything's good.
I mean, are you a doctor, Sean? I don't know. There you go. That was perfectly timed. I was just talking about the loose bodies. The reporter asked, do you feel the loose bodies in your elbow when you're pitching? He says, no, everything's fine. Everything's good in the elbow. So, look, maybe he doesn't realize it, but it could still be affecting him. So, hopefully not the case, but it is just another really bad performance by a Mets starter that we are fortunate Juan Soto was able to bail them out. Huge win for the Mets today. How are you guys feeling? Sound off in the chat. Let me know. Really appreciate y'all being in here. Mr. Churfer, yeah, got to feel for the guy. But this is a contract year. He should have all the motivation in the world. Oh, as far as Ryan Helsley, Jose Lopez Moya says Helsley's got great stuff. He hasn't been able to... but it hasn't been able to click. Hope he gets straightened out. You know what? He had decent numbers in St. Louis this year, but they were not nearly as good as last year when he set a franchise single season save record for St. Louis. He had an ERA of exactly 3 this year with the Cardinals, and his fastball has been, and was even before coming over to the Mets, the most hit pitch, the pitch that has had the highest OPS against in all of baseball. So the fastball doesn't fool anyone. I know he can get it up to 100, even 101 miles per hour, but it's flat. And if it's in the middle of the zone, these are MLB hitters. They could do damage on it. And the secondary pitches never really were his calling card. It just hasn't done enough for him. So unfortunately, it has not been a good Mets tenure so far for Ryan Helsley. Him turning back into the Helsley that we thought he was going to be would transform this bullpen. Unfortunately, right now, it's pray the starters can get through 5. Pray that you're going to get a solid inning from Brooks Raley, Gregory Soto, Tyler Rogers, and that can bridge the gap to Edwin Diaz in the 9th. As Diaz, by the way, maybe the unsung hero, the Mets bullpen leaking oil once again in this game, but coming in to get the final out of the 8th inning, and then a nice, neat 1-2-3 9th inning as well. A fly out that very nearly went out of left field for a solo homer in the bottom of the 8th. Fortunately, it does not. And then a strikeout, a strikeout, ground out, and then another strikeout to end this game as the Mets win 10-8. Love to see it. Jose Lopez Moya, be careful. Remember that the pitching lab has been taken over by Dr. Frankenstearns, and that won't help the pitching staff. Dr. Frankenstearns strikes again, guys. I want to hear what Soto had to say in post-game, not just his on-the-field interview with Steve Gelbs, but nothing to see so far. I'm sure you guys watched this, so I don't want to replay it for you guys. Let's see what Manaea does have to say. There's some more interviews now. That's about his elbow. Everything is fine. Let's see what he has to say here. It says Sean Manaea was asked about his struggles with locating his fastball up in the zone. We know that was his bread and butter last year, and it has definitely not been the same this year. Let's just hear what he has to say.
To get that fastball up in the zone, why do you think you're having issues doing that consistently this season?
I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. I feel like I'm doing all the right things, but it's just not working out right now.
Man, it's tough because Sean Manaea is a good guy. He's a good teammate guy. You saw the energy he brought to the dugout last year and then in the playoffs and then this year, even while he was injured. So it hurts to see Sean Manaea struggling as badly as he can. And you can hear in that clip right there, this is a guy that is going through it. This is a guy that is struggling and is so disappointed with himself. So I feel for Sean Manaea, and I hope that he can figure it out because the Mets absolutely need him to get back to his 2024 form if they want to go where they want to go, which is to be hanging a World Series banner at Citi Field. So hopefully Sean Manaea can figure it out. But yes, CB, as you say, looks lost 100%. Edward, Christian Aquin, it's going to be hard for the bullpen. Our starting pitchers going around 4 or 5 innings. Quality start. Our starting pitcher just need quality starts 100%. That's it. Give us a quality start. I'd sign for that any day of the week now. That used to be like 6 innings, 3 runs. Like, that's okay. It's not great, but that would be amazing. I'd be over the moon if the Mets were consistently getting 6 innings, 3 runs out of their starting pitchers. But no, definitely has not been the case. An absolute struggle for this team as of late. Let's go over to the box score. Nobody in the Discord currently. And by the way, of course, thank you so much. The Braves barely can win 1 game against the Phillies this weekend. They get just trounced 3 out of 4. And then what do when they go play the Cubs? Oh, they're up 3-0 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Thank you so much, Atlanta, for absolutely nothing. Freaking Braves. Unbelievable. What a day, though, for Juan Soto, as we know. Let's go through the rest of the box score, though. Francisco Lindor finishing this one. Let me zoom in here for you guys so you can see. What are these stats for Ants, huh? I'm sorry, 0 for 3 for Lindor, but drew a walk in the 1st inning. Also had that key strikeout that looked like the Mets were going to come up empty there in the top of the 4th before Soto's grand slam. But Juan, 2 for 3, the grand slam, the 2-run triple, also draws 2 walks. The season numbers, 257 average, 915 OPS, and now 36 home runs, and he is at 90 RBIs on the season. These are MVP type numbers. If Kyle Schwarber wasn't hitting 4 home runs every game, he would be in the conversation as MVP at this point. It has been an unbelievable season for Juan Soto. Like I said, I already gave out my apology form, signed Tony Metro here to Juan Soto. So you can't hold it against me anymore. I ate my crow. Rough day for Pete Alonso. 0 for 4, 2 Ks. A couple opportunities there. The double play in the first inning, and then striking out with Soto at third there after his triple. Nimmo just sneaking one through the left side for his lone base hit, but a key insurance RBI to make it 10-6 at that point. Mark Vientos with an 0 for 4 at bats. Jeff McNeil continues to just quietly hum along this year. 2 hits in this one, a .259 average and an .804 OPS, plus a nice play at second base in this one, after Rogers came in and gave up a leadoff base hit. Let's see. Mullins, 0 for 2. No surprise there. I mean, he is 0 for his last 11, I believe it is, for Cedric Mullins. But like I said, had probably his highlight reel moment as a Met, making that diving catch in left center field in the late innings of this one. If he doesn't get to that ball, or if it gets past him on the diving attempt, this is a different ball game. I think it probably scores a run, and it probably also puts a runner at second or maybe third with no outs. So good job. Nice defense there from Cedric Mullins. And hey, Luis Torrens, one of the weirdest 3-for-3s you'll ever see. First, a 2-run double down the left field line, so that's all good and dandy. But then a bloop hit to right, and then he follows it up with another duck fart into right field. But good for Luis Torrens, who has been robbed on some hard hit balls this year. He finally gets 2 of them back here with those 2 bloopers. Beatty, tough one. 0 for 3, the big strikeout there. Fortunately, again, Soto coming through with the big day. Let's take a look at the pitching, because that was not very good. As great as the lineup did today, the pitching, not so much. So we already talked about Manaea, 3 2/3, 8 innings pitched, 5 earned runs on 1 walk. He had 6 strikeouts, but just couldn't seem to do it, put people away. Gregory Soto came in. He got the final out of the 4th inning, but then gives up 2 hits and a run before he could get another out in the 5th. Then it's Ryan Stanek coming in. He ends up getting 2 outs. He doesn't get charged with any runs, but he uncorks that wild pitch. He also walks a guy, so the whole Stanek roller coaster continues. Tyler Rogers comes in, gives us a scoreless inning. Needed that one from him. Works around that leadoff bunt single. Helsley, not so great. Only gets 2 outs there in the 7th. Brooks Raley would come on in relief. He'd give up a run as well, and then it was fortunately Edwin Diaz to the rescue, giving us an inning and a third, 4 outs for the save. Excellent work from Edwin Diaz. That is now 25 saves on the season for him. Love to see it, guys. Let's go back to the chat. Mr. Chirfer, I don't see what's so difficult about getting... Oh, that's way up in the chat. Sorry, I already read that one. Let's see. Edward Christian Aquan again. I got you. Oh, man. Let's see, Mr. Chirfer. I saw some poor pitch sequences with Manaea 2. 0-2. He needs to try to induce chase. Instead, he stays in the zone with the same area the guy got a hit on the prior at bat. And I wonder. I mean, Torrens is pretty steady back there calling games. So I think it's got to be Manaea choosing his pitches out there, right? I mean, something ain't right about it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'm with you, man. I don't love all the pitch sequences that I've been seeing from Sean Manaea myself either. And he was super reliant on that fastball up in the zone last year because of that new arm slot that he was using from, that 3/4 kind of angle that he learned from Chris Sale or just from studying Chris Sale. So I don't know, but something is not working. The bread and butter isn't there, and he hasn't seemed to be able to make any adjustments, and that without talking about there being any potential physical issues with him as well. Alvin Solano, offense is clicking, but no lead is safe for this starting pitching staff. Shaking my head. I said it after the Mets went up 6-3. Let's see how long it takes before the Mets pitching staff blows this lead. It happened way faster than even I could have believed. I think they could only record 4 outs before the Tigers tied this game because they scored 2 in the bottom of the 4th, and then with 1 out in the 6th, they ended up tying this game up 6-6. So 3 or 4 outs, and before you know it, a 6-3 lead. Poof, just like that, gone, invincible. Mr. Trevor, Alvin Solano, that's true. Let's hope McLean doesn't keep that trend going. What is the trend? Offense is clicking, yeah. Well, Noah McLean is on the mound tomorrow, so that will be nice. Get to see another look at him, his 4th MLB start. Military Military Mike, when in doubt, dial 9. Juan, what a day. That is the comment of the stream. Military Mike, when in doubt, dial 9. Juan, what a day. I love it, Military Mike. Thanks for popping in, man. Hope you're doing well. Edward, Christian Aquin, let's also give props to Rayleigh. 1.76 ERA, been at least a steady hand for our bullpen. He or Rogers are going to be the bridge to Diaz on close games. By the way, why is the red hot Taylor sitting games? So Tyrone Taylor felt something in his hamstring on Friday night. That's what Carlos Mendoza said. I believe it was either yesterday or earlier this morning. So that is why Cedric Mullins has been getting the majority of starts since Saturday, or really all the starts since Saturday, because Tyrone Taylor had something pop up with his hamstring, and it's just not fully healthy right now. So unfortunate timing, especially with how well Tyrone Taylor has started to hit lately, but hopefully he is on the mend and will be back soon. Desperately could use a different look than Cedric Mullins, if I'm being honest, but not to detract from Cedric, who had that nice catch, like I said, but hopefully Tyrone Taylor is going to be ready and be able to get back into the lineup sooner than later. Stanley Babbage, when is Sproat being called up? I don't know. We'll see. He is eligible to pitch on the postseason roster. So I said in my streams over the weekend he needed to be put on the 40-man roster. That was incorrect. I've since learned as long as they are within the organization, they are eligible to be on the playoff roster. So there's every chance in the world Sproat will get an opportunity here in September for a start to pitch out of the bullpen, and he is still eligible to be on the postseason roster if things go well and the Mets decide to go that route. So that deadline, that was yesterday, not actually the case. I was mistaken on that. Kind of a confusing rule. The guys have to be on your roster, but they don't necessarily have to be on your 40-man roster. So my apologies for that one. That's kind of a confusing one, but now we got it right. The Flyest Tucker, I never wanted Mullins. Sorry, most Mets fans really didn't. And when I saw the Mets trade for him on the final day of the deadline, I was like, okay, it's something different, but I was not like thrilled or over the moon or excited about it. We know what Cedric Mullins has been for the last several years with Baltimore, and that is a diminishing player, both at the plate and defensively in center field. We were hoping maybe catch a little lightning in a bottle. It's got to be better than what we were getting out of Tyrone Taylor, but unfortunately, that has not been the case so far with Cedric Mullins. So I understand, and I'm totally with you. He is a free agent, obviously, at the end of this year, so his time with the Mets may not be very long. Kurt W. Norris, Mets win. Let's go, KWN. Appreciate you, my man. Thanks for tuning in. Military Mike, just happy they won. Rookies are going to have to save this staff. Hope they can handle it. And the Flyest Tucker, you play every day, not he sharing. I don't know what that means. You played every day, not the sharing. I'm not sure what that means, TKN. Or the Flyest Tucker. You got to let me know what you're talking about there. But in the meantime, I don't think we have anybody on Discord waiting in the chat. So we're going to close that out now. Next time, appreciate you guys anyway. And let's go ahead and preview tomorrow's game against the Tigers as the Mets look to win a series against the top team in the American League. Can't seem to find a way to beat the Marlins or even split a 4-game series with the Miami Marlins, but no problem beating the best team in the American League. Yeah, make it make sense. So Nolan McLean and the phenom that he has been so far for the Mets makes his 4th career start, 0.89 ERA so far through the first 3 over 20 and a third innings pitched. He has punched out 21 batters, coming off a great performance against the Phillies in the finale of that one where they sweep them out of Citi Field. 8 innings pitched, just 4 hits, no walks. Hasn't given up a walk now in back-to-back starts, so really excited to see what Nolan McLean has in store tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Mets will be taking on right-hander Sawyer Gibson Long. I got to be honest, never heard of the guy. 4.32 ERA over 8 starts this year. Over 2 starts this year. So he's only pitched 25 innings. He's 27 years old. So let's see. He pitched in 2023, did not pitch in 2025, but I guess he's probably one of those type of long relief guys, spot starter kind of guys for the Tigers. So last time out was August 13th as a reliever. Maybe there was an injured list stint. I'm going to be honest, I did not study up on this guy, but before that, back in June, had back-to-back starts, went 6 1/3, gave up 4 runs against Tampa Bay. and then the next week gave up 3 runs in 5 1/3 against the Minnesota Twins. So, like I said, guys, the Mets always seem to struggle against these no-name guys, so hopefully that's not the case. But Nolan McLean and Sawyer Gipson-Long is your Game 2 pitching matchup in this series against the Tigers out in Detroit. Nice win for the Mets, guys. What a performance from Juan Soto. He carries this team to victory. I am happy. I am juiced. I am really pleased. My Labor Day has not been ruined by the Mets. In fact, it has perked up quite a bit. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We are going to wrap it up. I don't have time to thank everyone in the chat because there were so many of you guys today. Thank you. But if you are still here, leave this video a like. Really do appreciate it. Goes a long way toward helping me out here. So thanks so much. Send this to a friend that's a big Mets fan too. And subscribe if you're not already and tell them to as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Mark Rapp at the buzzer saying Minaya sucks. It's not a good start for Minaya, that's for sure. Mark Jose Lopez Moya. Hope the Mets score enough runs for Nolan McLean. I do too. Mr. Churfer, if Taylor goes on the IL, we get Siri on the mend. Hopefully, we haven't seen Siri, but we know he's doing rehab appearances right now. And CB24203, let's make it 4-0 for Mr. McLean. Military Mike, enjoy your Labor Day. Thank you, Military Mike. You enjoy your Labor Day as well, and the rest of you all enjoy today. Thanks so much for being a part of it. We're right back here tomorrow after the Mets and Tigers Game 2 of that series for another post-game stream. But until then, guys, I'm Tony Metro. Stay true to the orange and blue.